In the exhibition, color acts as a pivot point and trajectory that conjures and crystallizes the bond between outer phenomena and inner movements. Spencer Finch presents works in diverse media that each deal with a different facet of color, be it the physiology of perception in the light installation RGB Yellow and in the time-based work Back to Kansas, or questions of how we relate to it in language, as in the 3 brown paintings. The subjectivity of perception, the stories and memories that we tie to a certain experience of light, is a theme in the poetic autumn haiku. All works are driven by Spencer's almost scientific desire for exploration and representation. But the works confirm color as a magnificent riddle, remaining incomprehensible and highly personal. And this is exactly what becomes part of their beauty.
My interest in color started really in a non-retinal way. I was interested in the philosophy of color and the language of color, and how color is so subjective when we experience it and when we talk about it. And over the years, I've become more interested in, I guess, the sort of physical aspects of color and the more aesthetic aspects of color as well. But I think at its foundation, all of this work explores, for me, questions that never really have a clear or final answer about what color means and how color exists in the world and how color is different for each of us. And I hope also it has something about the real human aspect of color and the kind of joy and wonder that color brings to all different types of humans and kinds of people. Subjectivity of color and the relativity of color are 2 aspects of color theory and art practice that continue to be really interesting to me. And I think, some of that is a kind of anti-digital response and trying to show that color cannot be reduced to ones and zeros. It's more than that, and it changes, and it is dependent on the viewer, and it is dependent on the time of day, and it's dependent on the context of what's around it. And for me, that's part of the wonder of color, is that it changes and it refuses to be pinned down, and it refuses to be named. And this impossibility of naming it is, I think, what gives it so much power. And of course, we have names for color, but it doesn't really work. The naming of color is very arbitrary and sometimes beautiful, but also incredibly inaccurate and ad hoc. So the idea of looking and experiencing color in different contexts and trying to make sense of it, I guess, is part of what I was thinking about when I was working on the works in this show.